up? Guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. You're on the Cash Geeks Network. My name is Dom.
And I'm G.
And guys, this is the Cash Geeks Network, and we're on with my man, Jon Brooks. Guys, he is lightning. That's all I'm going to say. He is lightning. You guys have never seen a player like this in your lives, and we're going to go in real deep on
and then there's that
everything.
Dude.
I'm just hanging out.
Yeah, he is not lightning.
Not lightning. Lightning.
Lightning,
not
lightning.
Like, he's premium, I'm regular.
It's like thunder. Vita thunder. Cool. So guys, we have my man Jon Brooks on, and he is co-founder of Momentum Realty. He's got a lot of really exciting things going on the retail side of the business, and we're really going to go in on everything he's got going on in real estate. Everyone's going to learn a tremendous amount. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. As you guys know, every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, we go live on Facebook. We take the information that we compile for you guys, we transfer it to YouTube. So any of the videos that you guys have seen from us in the past, or if you want to learn more information on real estate, the retail side of the business, flipping, we do a lot of panels, we do a lot of interviewing, things for all of us to learn on real estate. Go to youtube.com/The People's Wholesalers, and you can watch all of our past videos for the last 2 years. So how many videos do you think at this point, G, we've got going on?
Oh, shit, like 80, maybe? 80, 90?
80, 90. It's a good number.
Around
8,090 videos, guys.
Something like
Go
that.
to YouTube and watch them all. But in the meantime, tonight, we're going to be dialing really on the retail side of the business. Is that safe to say?
Yep, that's right.
So, Jon, if you don't mind, guys, this is Jon Brooks once again. If you don't mind, Jon, just give us a little bit of detail on who you are, what you've got going on in your life, and what they need to know about you to know that you're lightning.
Yeah, thanks for the intro, like the lightning aspect of it. Came to Jacksonville in 2014, 2015, was a real estate investment banker at a Wall Street bank. Yes, I was on the other side of it.
One more time.
Tastes good.
Learned the numbers there and had really great mentors. Had my first real estate transaction to purchase my first home. It was a terrible experience. The listing agent didn't even have photos for the home, and I had to go and negotiate the deal myself. And after that, I saw the settlement statement, saw how much money that the agent had made for how much work they had done, and I said,
That's awesome, man.
I literally was just like, I got to jump at this. I had to make a move. I was flat broke, had a lot of debt. First year came in, just straight up grind, cold calling, door knocking, all that kind of stuff. Sold $12 million in real estate, 66 properties. Second year sold 74 units for 20.1 mil, and then the third year I convinced my wife, who was also a banker, CPA, to come in, and she sold 66 homes her first year, and then we sold 36 million together. That time we became a real estate coach, started speaking nationally, and became net worth millionaires, coming from straight out of my mom's basement, as I was telling you guys before. And then
That sounds like a rap song.
straight out of my mom's basement.
Were you packing your gat when you did that?
Yes. And basically, we started a brokerage after we had a couple kids and didn't want to live that lifestyle anymore, and it took off. We've got 98 agents with us right now that are on track to close $500 million in real estate this year, which is phenomenal. Awesome. And then I opened a mortgage branch, which my official title is with Integrity Mortgage Group for financing, and we manage that as well. And we're looking to build a one-stop shop, so when a customer comes to us on the retail side, you can do title, mortgage, insurance, just like all the big brands out there like Zillow and Realtor.com are doing.
Oh, nice. So you're going to open up a title company?
We're eventually going to have all of the options available. Okay. It wasn't our plan originally, but there's competitors out there in the market. There's competitors out there in the market that are building that one-stop shop, and to keep our agents competitive,
Isn't Zillow
it's
doing
an option.
that?
They're absolutely doing it.
Yeah.
They actually have already done it. They just haven't put the pieces together to streamline it yet.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, because they have like a title company, lending
mortgage company. Yep.
And
And now they're a brokerage.
yeah,
They're connected in with MLS. They just bought Showing Time.
Yep.
So they can,
crazy,
you know,
dude.
anyway, they're moving down funnel, and we have to have a response to that. So we never had intention last year to start building those out. We did it out of necessity to make sure that the agents have a value prop that can compete against big competitors like Zillow.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers. It's been an exciting time.
Yeah, man.
There you go, Erica, new title company.
So I just did some quick math, man. So that's 98 agents and $500 million. So that averages. So I use decimals and stuff, but that averages like if you're counting a 3% commission. So let's just say that person's either on the buy or the sell, but not really doubling at all. $153,000 per agent.
Yeah,
on
so
average.
so right now, if you're listening to this, you're a real estate agent. Our average agent today, like just over the last projected numbers, makes $130,000 gross. Right, their net will probably be closer to around 100 or 90, but still, that's incredibly
Hell
different
yeah.
than the average real estate agent who makes 30, 40, and then their brokerage takes 36% of that. They actually end up being below the poverty level for the United States for 70% plus of the real estate agents in our market.
So not only are you just an absolute animal at producing business itself, you've instilled that on a bunch of people, and that's evident in numbers. Because I'm pretty sure that most brokerages, their average statistics are nowhere near that. Like what's the statistic of like agents versus actual produced like business?
I don't even know if I want to guess that number.
I think it's something
super,
like
super bad,
like the top
I'm sure.
5% of the realtors produce 95% of the sales or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Something crazy like that.
And when we opened, we specifically had a standard for our agents, so they had to do 10 plus transactions because the Momentum brand means something. When you're working with a Momentum agent, they're going to be responsive, they're going to be positive, they're going to be looking for win-win situations to get the deal done. They're going to be professionals. And the problem with the real estate industry in general on the agent side is that there's no standards, and if you have a license and you are breathing, you can hang your license with 99% plus the brokerages.
So really quick, my man Corey Miller says that John is a jack of all trades and also the master of all trades. So shout out to Corey Miller.
Hey, Corey.
And then we've got my man Vince Casito that says he's got a question. How does Zillow buying showing time affect local agents?
Yeah, so Zillow is looking to become a transaction platform, kind of like Amazon. So you could imagine a seller uploading their listing directly to Zillow and then making it like a bidding platform like Hubzu or some of the other foreclosure auction websites. Showing Time is the platform that they needed to be able to make the showings directly with the sellers from the Zillow website. And they're integrated across the United States with over 1 million real estate agents. So that just totally warp speeded their ability to get to the consumer quickly and get the real estate agent out of the transaction.
Right.
And that transaction is complete. They own it now.
They finalized the paperwork. I think it has a closing time period, but yeah, it's going to be finalized for sure.
How do we interrupt that, John?
The real estate digitization has been occurring for a long time. I don't think it's something to interrupt. I think it's something that real estate agents are going to need to figure out together how they're going to do instant showings because that's what the consumer wants. And then they have to do it in an affordable way. So if Zillow says, oh, by the way, we're going to bundle title, mortgage, and insurance together and give you $5,000 back because you use our brand, the agent must be able to compete with that and have the same platform available, and that's what we're looking to create over the next few years to keep the agent competitive. I don't think Zillow has any idea. There's $84 billion worth of commission dollars that's up for grab each year in the real estate industry. They're worth like just over $2 billion in terms of their market cap. They have a long way to go. They don't have a big market share right now. They have eyeballs, and now they're trying to figure out how do I monetize that.
Right.
There's more money in the mortgage and title company businesses than in the real estate agent business. So that's why they want the whole bundle and then get the stickiness factor.
Absolutely.
So we're building the platform to compete with it.
So quick question, because you mentioned something in there. So you mentioned instant showings. Can you explain to the audience what an instant showing is and then give an example of how that would work?
Yeah, so traditionally you would contact your real estate agent and then schedule with their schedule to go see a home. Right. Now they're just saying, you can go see it at 2 o'clock on Tuesday, and we have one of these 5 real estate agents that's a premier agent to go show it to you. And if you're unavailable to show it at that time, then you lose that customer, you lose that lead.
So you mean if the customer will schedule it with one of 5, the customer will arrive and the realtor might not show up?
That is possible, but to be a premier agent, you get customer experience report scores. So if they didn't show up, they'd kick them off the algorithm.
Ooh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So Zillow's got it all figured out. They have a game plan that's 10 steps ahead of what the public actually sees. They're a large company with a board of directors and investors they're responsible to. It's not as simple as most people look to make it.
So how
that's
do
crazy.
you compete with that? So they're setting up all these avenues. You're building this incredible brokerage. Everyone's doing amazing. For some reason, it always seems like the regular retail agent realm always overcomes. They always do great. They always persevere. Doesn't matter how big this elephant in the room gets, you guys always persevere. So you see all this coming in the future. Like, how are you going to overcome that?
We're building the bundle. The convenience part is easy. We can copy that through building teams, having showing agents, making sure that our customers have a good relationship and a good experience. The cost thing is what we're going to have to be focused on over the next few years. But if you're a top agent, you're top 10%, you're relationship focused, I don't think and you actually add value, you'll be great. But 87% of agents fail out of the industry in 5 years. Those are the ones that should be concerned. But the ones who are actually, like, I feel like in some transactions I'm worth way more than 3%. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, your value is there. Some of the times not. Sometimes you get lucky, just like with you guys, you get like a wholesale deal that's a layup versus like a three-pointer. We're basically breaking that down, and we're going to be able to, whatever they do, whatever Zillow decides to do, we can copy it. The only thing we can't copy is the eyeballs, because that's a game that we would have had to start 10 years ago. So, but they can't compete on the ground getting in locally with the community. You're either getting a customer in today's world at 10,000 feet through the internet, or you're getting it right door to door. They're competing at 10,000 feet. I can't compete there, but I can compete in my actual marketplace. They can't go to a small business chamber and go network with the people there and get to know them personally. And if we can add the same convenience and even more value than an AI chat bot, which is how they would probably try to do, most people still would prefer to work with a human. If it's costing them the same amount.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So happy you came on. I'm excited about tonight. But basically, what kind of sparked this, and I want to read it to everybody who's watching. I was just scrolling through Facebook because I have nothing better to do, right? And then I see Jon post. He posted in Facebook, and this is exactly what the post said. I'll read it quick. In Northeast Florida, housing inventory is at a historic low. Pending sales are up, prices are up, and homes are selling faster than they have ever before. We expect low housing inventory to continue into busy season, causing many buyers to consider new construction options. Meanwhile, interest rates are starting to creep up due to inflation expectations. Higher interest rates will negatively impact affordability, creating an even larger pain point for buyers who are already facing rising prices. Further, in terms of the annual market cycle, home buyers will soon begin their tax refunds back and use them for down payments and/or file their new tax return and then have eligibility to purchase. This will fuel more buyer competition over the next few months. Here's some key stats for January 2021 versus 2020. This is crazy, right? So 2021 versus 2020. New listings were down 15%. So there's 15% less listings in 2021 of January than 2020. Pending sales, 17.9, so almost 18% more in January of 2021 than in 2020. Closed sales, 11.2% more in 2021 than 2020. Average sales price, 16% higher. That's crazy, dude.
Wow.
16% higher, 2021 versus 2020. Inventory, this is the one, dude. This is the one. 51% less inventory. So there's half more
January?
than January of 2020.
Wow.
A little bit more than half of the inventory is gone. Month supply, 1.4 months supply of inventory. Average days on market, 53 days. Source, NEFAR. Dude, that's crazy.
Yes.
So when I saw that, I was like, shit, we got to get Jon Brooks on, and we got to talk about these stats. Because it sounds like the market is insane. And it's scary. Not scary because you always, kind of scary because everybody always hears, when it's pushing like crazy, is it a bubble? Is it not a bubble? Everybody talks about, once they allow the foreclosures to come back, it's all going to go downhill. But the numbers don't lie, right? And so there's crazy rise in prices.
Yep.
Inventory super low. So what does that mean?
Well, there's two factors for real estate sales in general. There's supply demand, and then there's affordability. The government has been committed to lowering interest rates to a point where we have the lowest level, the highest level of affordability ever. There's an index out there that is tracked by NEFAR for our local market. It was at 168, which means that 68% higher is the person's income than the price of the average home for the affordability. That has moved from last year to this year to 140. And so it's actually come down, and that's because prices have gone up. Interest rates are starting to go up now. So if you actually look today, the 10-year Treasury rate 6 months ago was at 0.65%, and now it's over 1.3. So it's more than doubled the interest rate for the Treasury. Now they're still keeping mortgages down pretty pat, but over the next 6 months, we'll see if interest rates start going up and home prices keep going up. It's going to come to a tipping point where the consumer says, I'm just going to rent. In Northeast Florida specifically, there's a great migration occurring from New York, New Jersey, California, high-cost, high-tax areas, and they're just flying here. These are people retiring. These are people buying second homes. These are people who are who have money. And it's pouring into Jacksonville. It's a beach town. It's cheaper than Orlando. It's cheaper than Tampa. And it's a moderate climate with no state income tax. We expect that migration to continue over the next few years. And by the way, we're still way behind on building by 5.3 million homes since 2007.
It seems like we're the only state that doesn't have snow right now, right? So that's awesome.
Exactly.
So come to Jacksonville.
Yeah, come to Jacksonville. It's going to be really tough finding a home. So you have to get in with a top agent that might have like off-market inventory, or you're going to be going to the new construction route, which the problem with that is these builders are slapping up homes. So you have to be careful. You got to get your pre-drywall inspection, all that kind of stuff. So you don't have a lot of great options if you're a buyer right now, and it's probably only going to get more expensive each month you wait.
I agree. Cash Geese is probably your guys' best option to buy. I'm going to go ahead and plug that.
No,
I have a really quick question.
That's crazy, dude.
Generally speaking,
5.3 mil.
for those, like, these stats are a shocker to a lot of people that's watching, right? So why specifically is there 15% less listings? Why are less people selling?
People with health concerns that were considering moving.
Due to COVID?
They don't want to put their home on the market.
Okay.
That's what originally happened. There was just a big shortage of homes that people were putting on the market. Also,
They're
people are
frightened of what's
staying
going
put.
on out there.
Maybe they lost their job and they can't buy, right? And they already own their homes, so they're just staying there.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that were planning to downsize, right? Think of like the mom and dad that are retired, kids are out, and they have 3,000 square feet and they only need 1,500. They're scared to list their home because they're not going to be able to find another one. So they just stay put. So there's a ton of different reasons behind it.
Makes sense.
But there will continue to be less and less listings. People are going to stay put for a longer period of time.
Right. And on that note, how does that relate to new construction, right? Because there's less listings, so there's less inventory to buy as far as the pre-existing real estate is concerned. So now new construction can't keep up. So what's going on in that realm as far as what your knowledge exposure is?
Yeah, labor costs are going up, lumber costs are going up, new construction is getting super pricey. They're slapping them up. They're having problems. New construction is going to be hot for the next 3 to 5 years because it's just a supply demand. We're so far behind, and there's such a constraint on it. New construction is just going to get really expensive. It's going to be on the outskirts of Jacksonville. There'll be people planning these communities that maybe shouldn't, and then they put up these homes, and we'll see what happens. I just remember, 06 through 08, they were slapping up these stucco homes, and now they have all those lawsuits against them because they didn't mix the stucco correctly and all that kind of stuff, or all those condo complexes that were put up during the boom that are in litigation. Just be careful. All I would say is, again, you need a top agent. If you're a consumer listening to this, please interview the real estate agent that you're working with. Make sure they have sales. Make sure they know the background. I've only been here 5 years and I know all of this stuff. I've studied, and your agent should be able to guide you to not have to have all of those type of problems along the way. That's the value that Zillow can't provide, because not only that, they don't care. They're a transaction platform. They don't care about the relationship or how you feel after the transaction like a real estate agent would.
Yeah, so with that being said, is new construction, with all the new construction that's happening, is that going to force property values to just increase like crazy? Or does new construction have any effect on property values? Or
it does. I mean, again, it comes down to supply demand. They're trying to catch up to supply. I mean, the demand. They're way behind on supply. They need to catch up to demand. So once they get caught up, or if, let's say, interest rates go up 1% from here, refi demand disappears, and everybody's just doing purchase, that's actually a good thing for real estate agents because it's more of a balanced market. Right now, what we're seeing is there's going to be one house on the market. Maybe it's listed at $250, and it gets 50 offers within 48 hours.
Right.
That means only one of the 50 agents gets paid.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so like that's a problem. But if they have more,
you guys don't
options
split it with
available-
everybody?
Maybe there's some companies that think that they should, but no. I mean, seriously, there's only one winner to it. So the inventory of them building, like your site agent is your best friend, because if their deal falls through, you should have a relationship with that site agent, so they kick it to you directly to get that opportunity.
Yeah, that's what happened. So my wife and I were looking for a place.
Yeah.
And
did you interview your real estate agent?
Yes.
They interviewed themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
my wife, she does a great job.
Okay.
But house went on the market, right? Back on the market. The deal fell through.
Yep.
Due to financing. And house went back on the market. We went to look at it. An hour after it came back on the market, there was already 3 offers. And
you're still looking.
No. We got it.
Oh, you got it.
But the agent said that we just offered asking price.
Was it one of Gary Booth's flips?
No, I'd never buy one of those. We got it because my wife, the realtor, said that the buyers wanted to go with us because my wife is the realtor.
Right.
So because the buyer just fell through.
Yep.
So they were just like, oh, these people know real estate, whatever.
Right. Be smoother transaction. Yeah.
So.
Well, congrats.
So yeah. So we're now under contract.
Where's that?
It's in
Fort Caroline.
Fort Caroline.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So we'll see. We just got the inspection today.
Is it in 32209?
It's in 322. It's in 322.
Off Moncrief and US 1.
32202.
Is it over? It's over the barber shop,
little
right?
ass zip code right by the stadium.
02?
32203.
There's a barber shop. It's on. It's
Westcott,
above it,
Jesus.
right? It's above the barber shop. Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, dude. So it was crazy because we called the realtor when we got to the property. We're like, hey, we want to put in a full price offer, and they were like, okay, well, I already have 2 full price offers. Send it as soon as you can.
Yep.
And nobody had sent officially an offer. They just said they were gonna put in an offer, and my wife, like in the car, just started typing it up.
Docu-signed it.
Docu-signed it, and
right
then
there.
just
Of
done.
course she did.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
Like in December 2019, the market was really starting to slow down. And it was almost as if like everyone in town had called each other and was like, don't buy anymore. The market was really, and then it kind of picked up in January, February. We see people get their tax refunds, like I said in the post, and they use that for their down payment. Maybe they do their new tax return, and it makes them enough to qualify now because they need 2 years. And then it was starting to slow. And then once COVID hit, I mean, for Florida, I mean, it was a huge boom because everyone wanted to relocate here. So I don't know if this COVID experience just delayed that. But if rates continue to move up, I'm not as bullish on the market as I used to be with the interest rates moving the way that they are. Because, again, if that affordability hits that tipping point, and it can happen very quickly, it can happen overnight, or something changes, or let's say, the COVID vaccine by summer, everybody's out and about anymore, and they want to travel, and they're not focused on home sales. There's 100 different things, or they don't need that second home anymore, right? And then there's just more inventory coming. The builders are building. Maybe we have one more busy season in my mind before it starts to slow down, just because of affordability factors. I don't think we can't have another year of 16% appreciation of homes after a 10-year bull run. Do you know what I'm talking about? Because usually it goes in a 10-year cycle. We're already in year 11, 12. We're pushing it, and you just can't keep that pedal down forever. I just don't see it being sustainable. Jacksonville's very insulated because we got the Navy base, we got Mayo, we have all these other things that they're recession proof. But again, if interest rates continue to go up, the asset prices will have to come down.
Gotcha.
So that's the only variable that I'm really looking at right now, other than the supply and demand.
Are you seeing small signs of interest rates creeping up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Today we had our lock rate, our desk closed. They couldn't even price loans.
No
I
way.
mean, it was
What's the reason for that?
The people are just starting to sell out of treasuries. I mean, there's,
So they
the
put a hold on it.
expectation was that COVID would damper the economy for a lot longer than it would, and then we got the vaccine out there. There's over 10% of the population who's got the vaccine. There's 10% that have actually had the virus themselves, and so once we get to like a 70 to 85%, rate of people either having the vaccine or having had COVID, they expect that things will open. I'm not a specialist here, go listen to the CDC, right? But like the expectations are that things will open a lot sooner than they would have otherwise. And the government just printed 22% of the money supply by handing out money.
Right.
So they're expecting inflation. You can't just print that amount of money and not expect things to change. And now things are changing faster. So inflation starts to peak its head, interest rates go up. And that'll slow down the ability of people to purchase and finance assets.
Right.
So also the moratorium has been a little bit crazy. What I'm curious about is like, I don't know if you guys, are you guys affiliated in any aspect with property management?
No, we do not do property management.
You don't really do property management. So when they extend the moratorium, the latest extension was until March 31st. I think there was something printed today about it being extended further. Does that affect you in any way?
Not at all.
Whatsoever?
No, we tried to stay out of the property management. I did it when I first got into real estate, and like the dollar per hour and like the work that I was doing didn't feel very fulfilling to me. So I just immediately walked out and I gave back the portfolio of rentals that
You don't
I
like
got.
evicting people?
I had 26 that I had gotten in 6 months, and I just gave it back to the company that I was working for.
I wake up for cash for keys.
I just don't enjoy it. I want to have a good experience. I like to spend time with people that I want to spend time with, and if I can use my skill set to add value to them, that's what I'm going to focus on.
Right, yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Wasn't for me.
I could see you as someone like liking to heckle people for rent,
I'm good.
So,
soft-spoken guy.
Malachi says, "Hey John, do you need a photographer, drone pilot, 3D specialist? Dang, he does it all."
Hey, that's
Hit
great.
him up.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know, do the 3D tours. Those are unbelievable right now. They're more valuable than the videos.
Right.
So,
Yeah. That's awesome.
Why are they more valuable than the videos?
The big lead aggregators, when you put up a 3D tour in their algorithms, they prioritize the 3Ds over the videos. So we stopped doing videos.
So it has nothing to do with what people appreciate.
No, yeah, and like with the new Apple iOS update, you're not gonna be able to target people like you used to. And actually, you can't already in most cases. Like 2 years ago, I was able to be like, I want wealthy people in this area who have yachts, and I could target all those people and hit them at a pretty affordable price. Now you can't target anything because of the political stuff with Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, all that.
Freaking government.
So the way that we go in and market to people has totally changed.
Biden and Mark.
So that's why it's not as valuable anymore. It used to be I could get that video, which we call a striptease, in front of like all the right people, to get them into the door of the home. Yeah.
Risque realty, baby.
I like Momentum Realty.
Trying to seduce you into the home.
So Corey Miller's got an interesting question. He's asking here, when short sales and foreclosures come due in 2 years, what do you think is going to happen with property sales and availability?
I'm not even sure most of them will close, like go to actual foreclosure. I mean, you can find a solution within 2 years.
Probably all going to come to Cash Geeks, right?
Yeah, they're all going to come to Cash Geeks. They can rent them out. There's 100 other solutions. They could do loan mod, right? There's a bunch of different options. I don't really see a big foreclosure wave occurring.
Gotcha.
You don't usually see that with prices
most
skyrocketing
loan
16%.
Yeah. There's going to be a bunch of those programs, I think. It's going to be a bunch of new programs of how to recover from not paying your
bailed
mortgage.
out in every other which way. It seems like it's
I
going to
really
happen.
don't see that wave coming that a lot of people were expecting. I mean, we were thinking it in March. I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought I was like, this is the end, like, whatever. I was kind of
Well, let me ask a quick question. Just because
it was
the end,
rough,
bro.
dude.
Yeah,
When
dude.
you saw sales drop like 30%.
Yeah, and then they officially shut everything down.
Jeez.
And you're not allowed to, go out to the streets. It's like, what the hell? Are we essential? Are we not? There was that little window that you didn't know if
real estate
realtors,
agents were essential.
Yeah,
Yes,
you didn't know
that
if real
wonderful.
estate was, and then we were essential, and it was like, oh, we were driving around.
That was
We were
awesome.
driving around with the freaking thing from NEFAR that said we were
I'm
essential.
essential, yeah.
Yeah,
we
just
made
in
a
case,
packet for
we made a
everyone that's on the
everybody
team
in
that
the
it
car, here
applied
you
to.
go.
Yeah.
You never know. So I was driving around with I'm essential.
Yep.
Yeah, it was freaky.
We had
It was
masks,
scary.
right? I'm essential. So,
And they said the caste system went away.
silly McGilly.
So, okay, so prices are going up, right? So what does that mean for realtors? With all the demand, with a bunch of people missing out, it seems like there is a shortage of inventory. So it's like as soon as a house goes on, because we were just house hunting, so I experienced it, right? House went on the market, we went to look at it, there was like 8 people there already. The house is on the market for a day, and then we get an email, hey, we're going into highest and best, please submit your best offer by this time. That happened with every single property.
Yep.
And then finally got one. But so what should realtors be doing to stay competitive, to be able to supply these buyers without missing every single time a property goes on the market?
Number one thing is real estate agents is still very much a brand relationship game, even with other real estate agents and site agents. You need that relationship with other top producers. You need to be known as somebody who is easy to work with and closes their transaction and actually spends time to educate their customers on what is realistic and not realistic.
So great realtors know other great realtors?
Yes, we all know each other. There's only a handful. I'd probably say there's maybe like 100 in Jacksonville that are worth what they get paid.
I know you're not on that list, bro.
And they're all at Momentum. No, I'm just kidding.
And we got 98 of them.
Yeah, we're still working on 2, and we know which ones they are.
Hey guys, you guys ever seen one partner beat another partner live on Facebook? I'll show you guys.
No, I mean, it's a relationship game. I mean, look, like agents talk. If you put an offer in on a house and they know it's this person that they've worked with 10 times before, and they go to happy hour together. The chances of going with this person versus a no-name agent that has 2 sales in the last 4 years, doesn't know anything about their customers, not even sure if their customer's qualified. There's a lot of tips and tricks you can do. You can have your lender call. You can do really specific terms. You can do a rent back for 7 days to the seller. You can pay for the seller's owner's policy. You can get creative on the terms to make yourself the most attractive, but in my opinion, the most important thing is your reputation.
Gotcha. So how does a realtor, let's get deep.
Okay.
How does a realtor build a reputation that doesn't have one yet?
Number one, it's really,
Good,
I feel like a lot of
Association.
agents, most agents are, I'm just gonna say they're broke because they don't answer their phone, and you gotta answer your phone. You have to be have a positive attitude, I would say. Like, it's really simple stuff that you need to do in any industry. The problem is there's no standards and there's no trainings, and the brokerages don't even teach you this. We teach this at our brokerage. We actually have a communications policy on our website of like, how do you communicate effectively? How do you build rapport with people? How do you build trust with people? Answer your phone, be super responsive, be super respectful, have a positive attitude, and come from contribution to like just whatever the problem is, hey, let's work together on it. Or, hey, what do you collaborate on it to make a win for the customers? Because at the end of the day, it's the customer's journey. And your goal is to get them from point A to point B. You just need to be known as that person that's not going to have an attitude, because that ruins everybody's day. And I get text messages all the time from people being like, put this person on the blacklist, just like put them on that list that they don't get to do deals, basically, because they're so difficult to work with. Either they don't respond, they have a bad attitude, or they're incompetent, like they don't write the contracts correctly. Which is a huge problem.
So I've heard of that before. So basically, each brokerage has their own internal kind of like blacklist.
We don't have like a real blacklist. I mean, like add it to the list of people that you probably want to avoid doing business with. So like whenever I was a listing agent, I was selling like 60 listings in a year, and I would make sure to qualify the agent as much as the buyer. Is this agent good? I'd look them up on Zillow. I'd see how many sales they did. Do they have 5-star reviews? Because that's so important. I don't want somebody who's this like their second deal. They have a really bad attitude. They have 5 jobs. It's going to ruin the transaction. And I'll even educate my customer to let them know what the level of education
Realtor.
or business of the other person.
Right.
Hey, this person's only done 2 deals. They're at a real estate brokerage that doesn't care about the consumer experience. Like, you know,
Right.
can't say it
Right.
exactly like that, but you know,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
so
yeah.
many terms, just say this is going to be a hard transaction.
Right.
Dude,
You know,
that is a nugget.
Set expectations. with
That is
them.
a nugget.
You know, hey,
You're not-
if we put it in an offer, we might not hear it back for 5 days.
Right.
Based on my experience with this person previously.
Right.
Or, hey, like on the repairs, they're not going to do them correctly. So, like,
Right.
it's just, that's the expectation.
Gary,
and that's a problem.
Do you do your repairs correctly?
After the inspections, yes.
After the buyers tell me what they want.
We
fixed,
give Gary a hard time, but Gary's pretty incredible.
Let's just say I have a big blacklist.
Hey, you dirty mongrel.
So, I don't have to be PC, but buyer's agents, do not scare your buyers. If a house is 70 years old, it's been rehabbed, it's not going to be a brand new house.
Yes, you
Don't
need to
tell
set
them-
expectations. And
don't-
the agent should be checking for polybutylene. They should be checking the shingle. They should be checking the HVAC unit age, all like the siding. They should be explaining the pros and cons of all of that to their customer before they even put the offer in. They should be pulling
my
permits
agent
before.
didn't do shit.
Don't
That's a hot market,
don't
man.
Say step cracks on a concrete block house built in 1980 is.
Oh,
or
Gary,
1960
tell me
is
how you
getting
really
madly
feel, Gary.
specific.
Okay.
Who's the agent?
Coach.
Who's the brokerage? Better yet, who's the
your-
brokerage?
If you put it on offer on 123 Main Street, I'm talking to you.
I have my list. I have my list of home inspectors as well.
Yeah, home
Oh.
inspectors. There's some companies
Yeah, well,
out
They
there.
just love
Yep.
killing deals.
Yeah.
They're deal killers.
Well, they overinflate things when you're like, this is a $5 sash spring for a window, and they're like, oh, the window's broken. You know, right? Like they just, I can't say.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have my set inspectors, and we used them for 5 years, and we don't have problems, and the customers don't have problems. Other agents, they just let the customer choose whoever they want, which they have the right to do.
Right,
but you
right.
should be like, here's 3 examples you can choose
Right.
from.
Right,
You know,
right.
go with this. This one's usually the best one in my opinion, but you have the right to choose.
And that's part of my qualification process as a listing agent or a seller of a flip. Okay, great. Who's your lender? Let me see the pre-qual,
Yep.
conventional, FHA, whatever. Who's your home inspector? Because I will have a couple now.
That's a
that I know
flipper.
that I won't.
That's a flipper.
because I've lost backup offers, signed backup offers.
Gary's like, who's your home inspector? Does he check under the house?
Listen, these aren't brand new houses. Okay.
I don't care
Does
who
he
your
take
realtor
cash
is.
money?
Who's your
I'm
home
flipping a
inspector?
house now. It's built in 1908, so you know it's not a brand new house.
The
right?
thing
It's just
is today the buyer expectation. First off, most agents don't tell them exactly what you said, and then number 2, they feel that they're paying such a high price they want the house perfect. Where
Right,
little
right.
things are now
Dude,
the
that's
end
how
of
I
the
am.
world. You know, they want everything or they don't want to buy the house,
Right,
and
right,
it's
right.
a bad attitude to have.
Right,
I mean,
right.
if you're only
That's my
talking about 2 or
attitude.
3 grand, if that falls through, interest rates go up the next day like today.
Right, right,
You're
right.
spending an extra, you know,
Right,
$25
right.
bucks for the next
Should
30
have taken
years.
the
Right.
renegotiate. That's what
Yeah.
I'm going to tell the
Yeah,
seller.
that's what we
You
gotta
could
do.
put it back on the market.
Wait, what did you say? What's a renegotiate?
Yeah, the buyer. The
renego.
problem is
No
most
coaching for the
most
buyers.
buyer agents don't have a buyer consultation. They don't sit down and explain the process. They just go and open the door, and this is the
Right,
problem
right,
why
right.
Zillow is going to have a problem. They're going to go and open the door. They're going to know nothing about the house. They might not even enter the house. That's how Redfin does it, by the way.
Right.
They just open the door, let them in. That's why Redfin's not picking up market shares because they're just giving money back. But the thing is, the
Ooh.
customer actually does want the value. They want the difference of is this lot backing up onto Kernan and it's turning into 4 lanes. This is it backing up onto
Tell
San
them how
Pablo,
you
right?
really feel, John.
There's
Let's go
some
in.
agents that are worth their weight in gold,
Oh,
and
there's
you
no
need
question.
to go and find and interview who they are, and then stick with them because I can tell you, I've saved customers hundreds of thousands of dollars by buying here versus there for specific reasons that
Yeah.
were
So,
happening.
I just really quick. I think what you're highlighting is so Greg Cohen from JWB Real Estate said it perfectly. Real estate is hyper local.
Yep.
It's hyper local. Like you're dealing with Zillow or you're dealing with Momentum Realty. Momentum Realty is going to provide these agents that are going to just be there for you like lightning.
It's like a family member looking out for you, making sure you're making the right decision. They're
Yeah.
going to go above and beyond.
It's true. It's true.
Let me
Two
just
questions.
what I was saying, and then I'll get off the mic.
Who's a home inspector you don't like?
So I'm not naming John,
Defamation.
so if
Oh, his name
I
is John.
just spent 3 months flipping a house, spent a lot of money into it, and making it as nice as I can, you're saying that if I get 4 offers and one of them is with a Momentum Realty agent, that that agent is going to qualify their buyer and walk them through the process better than most other brokerages?
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, I'm confident in our real estate agents and our brand. I wouldn't say that they do it every single time. It's hard because everybody's an independent contractor. They're not employees. That's the downfall of the brokerage model. So you can't just like force people what to say. You don't know what they're going to do. But in general, if you're working with a Momentum agent, the experience should be good, and they're going to educate their customers.
It sounds like it's like a grade in school. If you get a 95, it's an A, right? So 95 out of 100 agents.
You're training the agents to do that, and you're probably doing a lot more of that than a lot of other brokerages are. So
The other brokerages teach the opposite. Honestly, they're like, just go show the home because they're so commission breath. They just focus on just getting there and hoping that there's like being available is enough to have a stickiness factor that adds value. But if you're working with Momentum agents, a lot of agents do and don't or have some sort of modification of a buyer consultation with their customers. And if they don't have them, they should. And if they were here with me, I would be saying you better get your stuff together. Brittany has let go almost 8% of the brokerage numbers that we have because they weren't following communication guidelines, they weren't being ethical, they weren't having the highest level of standards that we expect. So when we find out about it, we can enforce it, but that is something that we have been very serious about. We want our brand to actually mean something where not just anybody can be a part of it. You actually have to be a top producer, you have to care about the customer experience, and you have to be somebody who wants to have a positive brand reputation.
That's really interesting because usually, like when I first became a real estate agent before we were Cash Geeks, right? When I first started interviewing with brokers, I started realizing like this is an interview in reverse, right? I'm not trying to get on a brokerage team. They're trying to get me on their team, right? So I never heard of a brokerage releasing the staff because you hold them to high standards, right? It's usually like, hey man, just come on board. Let's just funnel these individuals in. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
That's what I've experienced, and I'm not on the retail side of the business. But why do you guys hold yourself to those high standards? Like, what are you trying to build versus what other brokerages are trying to build?
We're trying to change the industry from the inside out.
Okay.
Which means we want to be the brand that has that reputation of you work with a Momentum agent and you're going to have a wonderful experience. Our goal is that 5-star consumer experience. Totally different. They don't teach customer experience at the big boxes.
Right,
They could care less. They talk about just like, how do you do lead generation? How do you do this? We do that too. And we say, here's how you specifically give a 5-star experience. And this is our expectation. And this is what we're going to hold you to. Other brokerages, they might say, you know, you come in and you do 3 deals with us. We'll take 36% plus of the commission. And that's it, right? So that would be worth it to have an agent pay $100 a month plus 36% of 3 deals.
Right.
White
And
glove
so they don't
standards.
care. Yeah, they don't care, but they don't care about they don't care.
Right. So what are so the 8% of the realtors got released, the rest stayed on board. What are some examples of what you have to do to be a part of who stays on board?
Our standard and it has changed and it has evolved because we don't want to
Always.
stop the next guy who's going to be the next top producer or next gal that's going to be top producer who joins Momentum. So we originally said only people who do 10 plus transactions per year have a positive attitude and want growth. So if somebody who came to us and was like, I did 10 last year, I want to do 10 this year, we'd be like, no. Because really what we're turning into is a personal development company for real estate agents that is focused towards top producers. And that, or people who want to be top producers. But if it's somebody who's like, I want to sell 5 or 6 and be part-time, this isn't the right fit for you. There's plenty of other options available, and you should go to that other place.
Right.
And that's it. We really focus on people who already know the contracts, already do that. We don't like training the basics. We like training the next level stuff. How do you run it like an actual business? How do you scale it? How do you get it to go from 30 units to 100 units within a year or two? Because that's what we did. That's what we want to focus on. We don't want to focus on how do I write a contract? How do I use dot loop? Like you should be able to figure out. First off, go to MLS, like figure it out, take the train, like be resourceful, be a resourceful human being.
Makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
So you talk a lot about finding the right realtor, right? So 2 questions, I guess, kind of for both point of views. How does somebody find the right realtor? And then how does somebody, if they are the right realtor, how do they market themselves to people that are looking for the right realtor?
Number one, I think that the number of 5-star reviews that you have from your past customers is huge.
Okay.
So you need to be asking for reviews. You should
On
be able to see
Zillow?
it on Zillow. You should be able to see it on Google. You should be able to see it on Facebook, even Yelp, all those different websites. So top agents that have relationship-based business, go and get those reviews. So we have almost, I think, 450 5-star reviews for Momentum.
Gotcha.
Which is huge, right? So that just says the customer's having, that's a validation that the customer had a good experience with our brand. Number two is you need to ask them the number of sales that they sold.
Okay.
If you're an agent who only sells one home every quarter, there's no way you're going to provide as much experience and knowledge of what's going on in the market to your customers if you're doing 3 a month. Do you know what I'm saying? You want somebody who's got the reps, and it's just like if you're going in for surgery, do you want the guy who did surgery 4 times last year, or you want the one who goes in every single day and does surgery?
Right.
Yeah. So you have to interview. So you got to ask these questions, and the consumer doesn't ask the questions.
Right.
So if you're a top agent, it's very easy to grab market share. We call it stickiness factor. And we just go in, and anytime anybody like runs across my wife as an agent, they work with her automatically because she's like, here's my 5-star experience. This is what it's going to look like when you work with me. Here's our expectations on communication. It comes down to a communication in a plan and a proven process, and we have it, and we teach it at Momentum, and our agents really go out and implement it.
Yeah. So I see a lot on your Facebook posts, like you guys are doing some high-end listings. Is that kind of the way that you're trying to go?
It is becoming a premium brand. What I would say is we get compensated based on the sale price of the home.
Yep.
So obviously from a business perspective, it makes sense to target higher end listings. The only difference between the luxury brands and our brand is simply the customer which they choose to focus on. Also, secondly, there's like virtually zero inventory under 250,000. Like it's extraordinarily competitive. So there's also a market, not just a business plan based strategy, but the marketplace is saying you should be focusing on higher end right now.
Gotcha.
So that's why that's happening.
Okay.
So, quick question. With regards to that higher market, how does the days on market change? So, if you have a property that's $500,000 and above, what do the days on market look like? $1 million and above, what do the days on market look like?
Yeah, I mean, under $500,000 if it's in good condition. I mean, it comes down to pricing. Like, still
Of
overpriced
course.
homes, or but in general, it's going to take you 60 days longer to sell a luxury listing. In Jacksonville, Northeast Florida, 500,000 plus is considered luxury. It's going to take about 60 days longer to find that buyer. There's just, if you think about it conceptually, there's just a smaller buyer pool.
Of course.
So you have less buyers
Less
in that
people have
pool,
more
and
money.
they might act a little bit slower than the typical buyer that has to buy, like, because they're renting and they have to buy. Do you know what I mean? Versus like buyers in that luxury range, maybe they can afford to look for 6 months, something like that. So it can take a little bit longer of a period. But our statistics from when we were selling real estate was we were selling luxury in 22 days, which was actually a lot faster than the luxury being sold. It was closer to like 89 days.
And what did you guys do differently to get them sold that much quicker?
Did the video, we did the Facebook targeting, we would do massive open houses, we would communicate with a bunch of agents, we'd do the coming soon listings. I mean, we had a whole marketing plan that we would go out and attack. We also would, like, for example, people listening, like, study the market. Like, if you listen on Thursdays, the chances of it selling at a higher price is like for 3% higher on it if you listen on a Thursday than if you do on a Monday. Right? Like, so like take the photos and do the video on Tuesday, list on Thursday.
What's
and
the
then
psychology behind that?
people go
Well,
into
it's
the
just-
weekend.
yeah,
So
people look on the weekend.
Thursday, you list it. It takes 24 hours to syndicate with like 500 different websites. Everybody sees it. They contact their real estate agent. If you do an open house on Saturday from like 1 to 3 o'clock, and you just say, hey, that's the first opportunity to come see this home is at that time period, then you can get a line of people out the door and make an emotional connection for them wanting to buy that property.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but you said Monday versus Thursday. So you're listing it on Monday. By the time the weekend comes, it might
It's
be
not
like,
as exciting.
Like, hey, man,
Yes.
it's been on the market for 5 days. Why isn't nobody looking at this? Why is it not picked up in the first or second day?
Yeah, every day that your home is on the market, it decreases in value. Every day.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
The longer it gets stale. So that's why you got to price it correctly. A lot of agents will be like, I'll just let you price it wherever. That's not the way to go. Right now, you're not even fighting the market. You're fighting the appraiser. So you have to be like realistic in your pricing. Otherwise, you're wasting your seller's time. You're wasting the buyer's time. You're wasting your time. And you need to educate your seller on what's going to happen. We just had a conversation today about it. They wanted to list it at like 175, all the comps are at like 150, and you're just like, okay, well the appraisal is going to come in around 150, maybe 155 if they price in the market adjustment. So if it comes at 155, would you still be willing to sell? Right, that becomes the conversation.
Right.
Or the deal's just going to fall through. You're going to put it back on the market. And the next person's going to happen again. It's going to happen again.
Right.
So you're not fighting. And this is where a valuable agent will say, write down all the upgrades to the home, put them here in a list, put the value in, make it like Santa's coming to your home as the appraiser, and put out a bottle of water, put out milk and cookies, and make that happen. Make their job easy. Give the appraiser ammo to go fight that battle on the value of your home. Which we teach our agents, right? Like, again, normal brokerages don't teach the basic stuff that you actually need to know on the day-to-day. And that's where our brand comes in and helps fill that spot.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's
Guerrilla
awesome.
tactics. Guerrilla realty.
It's real. It's real.
So, shit, I just had a question that had to do with that. Oh, no, it doesn't have to do with that.
Okay,
but
go ahead.
How do I successfully renegotiate the price that I put the property under contract?
Why?
Just in general.
To get a better price?
Yeah, to get a better price.
Okay, well, you should have started at a better price.
Well, you can in this market.
I see that happen where people where like a flipper will the repair request will come back, they'll shoot over the repair, and they'll be like, nah, I'll just take my backup offer. And they really just want to renegotiate the higher backup. Is that a realistic example? They'll renegotiate the...
So
I think you're being funny, but you would take the
well,
advice.
all right. So they didn't tell me that the pool heater didn't work.
Okay.
So it was on the seller's disclosure that there was a pool heater and that they haven't done any work to it. But that doesn't really say that it doesn't work,
Okay.
right? So we found out when we did the pool inspection, pool heater and the spa setting thing for the pool don't work.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's an opportunity.
Wait, so is this for your personal
This
purchase?
is for this is for my personal purchase.
You renegotiate. Yeah, you just say fix it.
Right. So how do you?
You just
What
say
are
fix it.
some
Yeah.
tips?
Is there a way?
Is
to
there a
Ask
magical way?
nicely.
Okay. Yeah.
It's Barney's Law. Say
Well,
please and thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
And you just
All
say, hey, I didn't know this was broken. You didn't know it was broken. It's broken. Can you please fix it
Right.
for me? Thank you so much for like the opportunity to buy this home.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I think what you're
That's
asking
good.
is, you're not asking to fix it. You're asking for
This man
$3
always
grand
sees
off.
green.
Yeah. Would I? Well.
He said renegotiate.
Well. All right.
The
hold on.
price.
As a realtor, right?
You got to talk
On the
real
other
estate,
side,
not
As
cash
the
geeks.
as the seller, right? The realtor who's representing the seller, do they want a price reduction or fixing the issue?
It depends on the agent because
Okay.
some agents don't give a crap. They just want to close the deal and get their money and move on.
Okay.
So like
You're-
if it's
yeah.
a great agent, they're going to fight in tooth and nail for every $1,000, right?
Gotcha.
But if it's a crap agent, you can probably get whatever you want. And there's
Okay.
plenty of crap agents, so it just depends on who you're
So if I
talking to.
text you the agent's name, can you tell me if they're a crap agent
Yes,
or
I
not?
will actually.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right.
It's
Great.
Text him
I mean-
Gary Booth Jr. Let's see what happens.
Junior.
Just get a
Extra
text.
crap.
Just walk all over it.
Extra crap.
So if your agent doesn't get you a golf cart, is he a crap?
Fuck you, motherfucker.
Or termite bond.
I got you to termite bonds. I sold them their house.
I see.
Or whatever.
Crap it. That was Dom's first and only real estate transaction as a realtor.
All right, guys, this is the last episode of the Cash Geeks Network show. We're shut down.
All right,
Okay,
so
cool.
let's see. Vince says, I talked to several agents and they're freaking out. Crude oil is holding near $60 a barrel. Jesus.
Wait, how is that?
How is that? The new administration is trying to pass $1.9 trillion stimulus plan. Rates went up twice
He's
today.
venting.
So
Let
you
him
know-
vent.
you know-
Wait. Is that what realtors are talking about?
No, realtors don't even know what that
No.
conversation
Yeah.
is.
All
I
right.
think that was 33 minutes ago, dude. 29 minutes ago.
So the rates went up 3
So
times
something
now?
we said sparked that off.
I
Got him
don't,
hyped.
I don't know. Did we talk about
Will
that?
Baker said you can still get in front of them if you can get them on a list. Ooh, he's talking about Facebook ads.
Oh yeah, you can
Yeah, so
do the
you can buy a
retargeting. Yeah, you
list,
can buy a
yeah,
list or
yeah.
buy a copy of the
Okay,
list.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is
So,
that's kind of ninja.
Gary, who are your preferred home inspectors? Ooh, Henry Angeli wants to know. Don't tell him.
Should we not?
No.
You can
no,
say
yeah,
the
of
good ones.
course.
Say the good ones.
Well, I just want to give a shout out to our boy. G just used him for his own home too as well. So Guillermo Vargas.
Yeah, he's
Pro
amazing.
Oh,
Home
my boy
Inspections.
Guillermo. Okay, yeah.
So very, very, very sincere guy. He knows his stuff. So on my
Yes.
flips, I do a post renovation flip inspection before I put it on the market, so we can fix all those issues that are going to come up with the buyer beforehand. So he does that for every one of my houses, and he's helped me out a lot over the years. So I recommend that one. And then the other ones, I think you go with like Home Scan's pretty good.
Yep.
Heard good things.
Yeah. What's some of the other ones? I think Wallace.
D
Wallace
Doctor
pretty good.
says I use house scan home inspections.
Yeah, they're good.
Oh,
I've had
okay.
good experience with Greg.
I would
home
just
inspection.
not every home
Greg?
inspector is created equal,
Austin Greg.
and let's put it this way:
Okay.
they're not contractors. So, I think as a agent, just take it as advice, but don't take it as gospel, right? So get second opinions and so forth. They say there's foundation issues. Call Alpha or another company.
Yeah, bring in a
get second
specialist.
opinion,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So
Yep.
that's it. Is they're there to advise, but don't let them act because the certification is not that high to get a home inspection license. So just
Let it all out, Gary.
just make sure
Don't-
you
don't.
interview as a
Wow.
customer. Make sure you interview your agent and the home inspector.
Wow. Too
And,
many, too
and-
many
and-
interviews.
and your lender.
What about the mortgage broker? Yeah.
Yeah, come on now.
This
Yeah.
is like a 5-step process at this point. I don't even want to buy a
Gary's
house.
houses all have
Just
foundation
don't-
issues.
Just don't, because I buy it from you guys. So just
You know
don't-
what you're
just-
getting into.
Just don't use my stuff. My store's bad. I will say that.
Hey, also really quick, we got
Oh,
my
that's
man.
a good point.
We got my man Nate in the house, and I want to hear if Nate has any preferred home inspectors. Guys, Nate's here on the Cash Geeks couch, and he's a very active real estate real estate investor,
Can't be branded.
flipper. And Nate, what you got?
House scan I've used. I like them. They're thorough.
Nice.
House
One of
scans.
my sellers, or one of my buyers in a deal I was selling, used them, and I thought that they were a little bit above and beyond, and they found everything. But that makes them good. I mean, so I would recommend.
Right.
They're thorough.
In
And,
the-
yeah.
In their defense, they're trying to over-service the sellers, right, to get a good name in a way.
Yeah, I'll tell you this: the language I don't like sometimes. Inspectors will do this.
Foul language?
They'll say possible structural issues if there's a little rot
Yep.
in like a piece of wood in the attic.
Right.
It's like, okay, that can scare a buyer off. So that's when a good agent comes into play.
Right,
or,
right.
You know,
True that.
It just needs to be explained.
Yes, so
appropriately.
like possible structural
Yeah.
issues, the buyer will run sometimes if they see that, where sometimes it's not a big deal.
It's like
So
cutting out a piece of wood and like T111s,
easy
but
repair,
yeah, whatever.
Easy repair. So yeah, inspectors that use language I feel like scary. Is
What can they replace structural with if it's not truly that severe?
the language? I mean, they can call it for what it is.
The problem is they
Wood
get
rot
sued
or
so many
wood
times
damage.
that like they
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's just
Cover their-
boilerplate language after every
Yes.
little picture.
I feel like
put
they
in
have
there.
a copy and paste.
Yeah, they do. No, they
Just a
literally do.
template.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, a little thing. You should seek
Yeah.
a professional to analyze this.
But
The
instead of
roof?
possible structure,
Get a
can they
roof
say
inspector out here.
possible structural, but there's also a chance it can be not close to structural?
How do you defend that in court, Dom?
Comes in and says,
I mean,
You can't
how
talk
do
to
you
the
ma-
judge.
How do you
Yeah.
massage
Could
it? How do
be,
you
could be.
massage
How do you
it?
know?
I think, you know, they can do whatever they want on their end. As a seller, then I get to say, well, look, that's not what it is. So they'll come at me with a repair request, and
Then you have the game of telephone,
it's a
right?
negotiation. So then you tell them, hey, that is major, that is not major. And you just tell
Right,
them straight
right.
up.
And I think that's where
Is
a
the
great
pool heater
agent comes
major?
into place.
I would heavily request that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, in the repair request. Yeah.
But that's where a great agent comes into place because you want to convey exactly what's going on, and the agent has to convey it as closely as possible to the way you want to convey it. Otherwise, the buyer's going to hear something entirely different, and it can screw up the sale.
Well, if the buyer looks at the report, they're going to see 150 pages and they're going to walk. So
Yeah.
like you need to like read it. If you're an agent, like read it, figure out what's a big deal, what's not a big deal, what's boilerplate, what's not. Like, oh, like this is a good inspection, this is a bad inspection. It's their choice at the end of the day what they ask for. But if it's something that they don't know, we need to bring in a specialist and then get an evaluation of it. And it could be nothing. It's just one phone call and somebody's time for 15 minutes to get an extra pair of eyes on it who actually knows.
15 minutes is worth the 5,
You
10,
got to cut
15
down
grand
that
commission.
gap of
It
uncertainty.
could save you 10%.
That pool heater question.
On your home
You would
insurance.
have hired a good agent for that
Your
transaction.
home purchase.
I'm pointing to myself. He would have negotiated a great freaking repair request for you. Just saying.
we haven't gotten there yet.
Just saying.
We just got the pool inspection yesterday. I'm saving everything. I'm getting the.
Call me. I can help.
I got
Start with
the
a
I got the
great agent.
Ask me tomorrow.
WDO. Yeah, of course. I'm gonna ask for everything, and I'm gonna get everything.
Do it. Hey,
Guys, the
ask
sellers
for
are
defense,
watching
G.
right now.
And to think, G, that they took your offer over others because they've been in real estate. It'll be an easy transaction.
I thought this was new construction. So
Like, I'm the
like,
king
totally
of
lost it.
Renegotiate.
It's been on the market
You've been
180
fooled.
days, and G paid full price. Full asking.
I put in my highest and best over asking.
10K over.
I didn't want anybody to get it.
Are some of your retail buyers opting out of inspections? No, and they should not. You should inspect
that's
everything.
absurd.
Even new construction. I mean, we're seeing like tens of thousands of dollars on new construction.
Have you even heard of that?
Yeah, we do inspections pre-drywall and then
No,
right before
opting
walkthrough.
out of the inspections.
Yeah, there's some people who say, hey, we won't ask for any repairs, but you always, like the way the NEFAR contract is written, you always have the option to walk away during the first 10 days.
But they're saying opting out of inspections, not repairs. Is anyone opting out of inspections on the retail side?
No.
Cash buyers?
No,
Retail
and
cash
an agent
buyers?
would never do that because they'd have to get a signed disclosure, otherwise they'd probably get sued if there's something.
What about an appraisal?
That's aggressive, huh?
One where you say that if the appraisal doesn't come through, buyer will bring cash to the table.
Yes, we've done that before, for sure.
I can imagine this because very seldomly, but once in a while, maybe once or twice a year, if that, we'll buy something off the market and we won't buy it with an inspection. So I would imagine if the
If
discount.
it's a house where everything's wrong with it, you don't need to inspect it.
You know.
Then maybe. Then
if the
maybe.
discount is significant enough and you're
right,
experienced
right.
enough,
Yeah.
then possibly. But on the
She,
retail side
she's
of
talking
things.
about retail buyers.
I mean, a good agent,
Right.
like
Retail
I've
buyers.
attended.
Are we a retail buyer in that case though?
No.
I mean, I've attended over like
Oh, you're talking about
150
the
home
buyers.
inspections, and I like watch the inspector and what they do, and you see what comes up. Like a good agent's going to be able to walk through the first time on a home and see what the issues are. Just like if you're an investor buyer, you're going to know approximately what the issues are going to.
I didn't check the pool heater. That was my
Yeah,
bad.
it's one. I wouldn't have checked that either.
That was my bad.
Yeah.
I just saw it and I was like, oh, the pool's heated. Hell yeah. We're definitely putting in an offer.
It was a warm
it doesn't
day.
work. No, it doesn't work.
All right,
Awesome,
we're
man.
getting close
Yeah.
to the tail end
But,
of this
dude,
thing.
Thank you so much for doing this.
sir.
How can people reach out to you? How can people find you? How can they join Momentum Realty?
We have to go through a 3-step interview process.
Okay,
No,
okay.
seriously, we actually do.
Yeah,
We do personality assessments and things like that. We've definitely upped the standards as the company continues to grow. We don't want 1,000 crappy agents. We want 100, 150 really great ones that care and live by the mission of serving others. But yeah, if you want to get in touch with us, you can just friend request me, shoot me a message on Facebook. I can drop my phone number and email as well for you guys.
Awesome, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
So thanks again for doing this.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And we will be back
Next week.
next Tuesday. We don't know what we're talking about, but we'll definitely let you guys know. Hopefully by Tuesday at 9 o'clock, we'll definitely let you know.
Word to Bill O'Reilly,
Yep.
we will be doing it live.
With that being said, guys, I'm G,
Guys, and I'm Dom.
and this is
The Cash Geeks Network.
See you guys next Tuesday.